Hello, my viewers. Welcome to Hugar Social Academy. Let us begin our session with a chapter called as a freedom struggle and from the second phase of the topic called freedom struggle. In our first phase of the chapter, we have learned about the INC and how the INC, which was split into three parts in the form of moderates, extremists, as well as the revolutionaries. Why they were being separated, what was the reason for that we have understood in the way in our first phase which began from the 1885 to the period of 1905. That period of 20 years was known as the age of generous nationalism and age of moderates. The moderates, who were the part of INC, their way of thinking, their way of working, their work nature was totally different, which gave to the birth of one more new team, which were called as a extremist. Okay, these are this group is somewhat little bit unhappy with the mild or soft attitude of the moderates. Soft attitude of moderates. Their approach to the way to the British, the way they carry their approach to the British, right? They were not doing the wrong thing, they were doing the good thing, but the way of approach was quite very soft. It was this softness made these people little bit unhappy. They are also the part of INC. So we call it as a second phase. Second phase from the 1905 to the 1920, and the prominent leaders of this second phase or the extremists like Arvind Ghosh, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal. Okay, prominent leaders. Okay, what we see that in the period of 1905 to 1920, we see that the country which was on the path of the journey of the freedom struggle, which was observed properly by the British. And now this British do not want that the unity should be strengthened among the Indians. When it was observed by the viceroy called as a Lord Curzon. Now viceroy, what he kept a proposal, the division of which place, the division of the Bengal. See, the cunning policy called divide and rule policy. And this Bengal was divided into two form. Okay, one called as a west, one called as a east. What it is, one called as a west, one called as a east, that too, okay, in the form of religion, Hindu and Muslims. Okay, west part Hindu, east part Muslims. Now this created a lot of damage to the unity, to the which one? To the unity damage, which gave birth to the once again to the East India Company to live for few more years in the country called as India and to loot the wealth of the country called as India, which was not at all accepted by the our political leaders, or we can say our moderates, extremists. They didn't like it. They tried to stop this Bengal division. They reached up to the people. They said about the division in the name of divide and rule policy to the people. They tried to make them to understand what was the reason or why they are doing such thing. But it was the division which was we have seen it. Okay. Our leaders like Arvind Ghosh, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal played a very, very major role in this. They reached up to the people to stop the differences which has been happened between the Hindus and Muslims. To overcome over this, to widespread of the revolt in the Bengal, it was being found that the leaders now they came forward and they moved with the goods called as a Swadeshi goods. Swadeshi goods in the sense the goods which are being prepared in the country called as India and rejected Videshi goods. Okay, this is Swadeshi. Swadeshi means ours. Videshi in the sense it's a out of nation. Here Videshi goods, what we are seeing that the goods are built from the where brought from the England, which was opposed. Widespread of revolt was being done. Western goods, Videshi goods, Western goods were being totally opposed. They were being burnt. They were being burnt to make to understand to the home to the British that we will not broke our unity. You try how much possible you can be possible from you, but we are united. To show the strength and their power, we have seen that the leaders they came together and raised their voice against whom? Against the British. In this junction, we have seen that the major role played was by whom? By Lala Lajpat Rai. By whom? By Lala Lajpat Rai and by whom? By Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak role is very very important. Bal Gangadhar Tilak role is very very important. This is the Bal Gangadhar Tilak who raised his voice over all national level. Tilak who said Swaraj, Swaraj is my birthright. Who said what? Swaraj is my birthright and I will get at any cost. Who said? Said by whom? By Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Swaraj is my birthright and I will get at any cost. Right? Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak with his newspapers like Maratha, okay, right? Maratha and the newspapers like Maratha played a major role in the way in the bringing the awareness among the whom among the Indians. Moreover, we have seen that unite the people, under the leadership of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, we see that Shivaji Jayanti, Shivaji Jayanti, Durga Puja, Ganesh festivals, festival, okay, were being organized. The purpose of organizing what it is that to create a unity among the whom? Among the Indians. To create the unity among the Indians, Maratha newspaper in the English, okay, right, has brought up lot of changes among the whom? Among the Indians. The purpose of this only what it was that to create or to strengthen the unity among the whom? Among the Indians. Another side, the Kesari newspaper, okay, in Marathi, the Kesari newspaper in the Marathi language was also played a very important role in the way in the bringing the movement or running the movement of the struggle called as a freedom struggle. Bal Gangadhar Tilak opposed, but it was too late. By these all things, it was been found that British was quite very frustrated by this. How come they decided to what to do to withdraw? And in the year 1911, Bengal division, Bengal division was withdrawal. Bengal division was withdrawal. But it's already too late. It's a 1905 the division which happened. Now it's a 1911 it is. These years of 5 to 6 years created a lot of hamper among the Hindus and Muslims. And the clashes created. So we can say that instead of the 1947 the division which was happened in the name of religion, By this, we can easily say that the division of the India in the name of religion took place in the period of 1905 by the small territory called as the Bengal. The Bengal. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, for these all works, he was being thrown into the jail, where in the jail itself he wrote a book called Gita Rahasya. He wrote a book called as Gita Rahasya. He was being thrown into the jail. He was being kept into the jail due to his activities, and his activity was totally towards the liberation of the country called India. So, in this way, in the second phase, we see that the extremists from the 1905 to the period of 1920, they had their struggle against the British. Our third phase, which begins from the 1920 to the period of 1947. So our second phase is the first phase, the moderates, which was from 1885 to the period of 1905, and our second phase, which was from 1905 to the 1920 period. In our next session, we will learn the role of revolutionary and from the 1920 onwards, the beginning of the era called as Gandhi era and how the freedom struggle took a massive, a strong role in the freedom struggle. Join me in my next session with the 1920 Gandhi era to up to 1947.